So I'm sure you know Administrator Morrison. Hey, good to see you.
Yes. Well, good to see you again, Administrator.
Then we have the regional administrator,
Okay,
Dr. Cabral.
great. Well, nice to meet you too.
And I'm sure you recognize the rest of our beat team here.
That's right.
So,
Friends and family.
yeah, thanks for doing this. We right now are sitting, of course, in the beep headquarters.
Okay.
And behind here, we have our control center, like where we manage and monitor everything. And we'll give you a quick view of that in a second. And so where Mr. Ford is right now is in the AIC building that was built in Jacksonville, with the grant. And we've been very proudly operating a system. So I won't steal any of his thunder. I'll let Mr. Ford tell you all about it.
Well, thank you again, Administrator Morrison, to you and your team for joining us today virtually here in Jacksonville and for taking the time to see firsthand the work that we're doing here at the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. We appreciate NHTSA's leadership during what we believe is one of the most transformational periods in transportation history. The work that is being done at the federal level to modernize policy while maintaining a strong safety first framework is essential as autonomous mobility continues to move from concept to deployment. Here at the JTA, we believe autonomous mobility is no longer theoretical, it's operational, it's scalable, and it is public transportation. Today, Jacksonville is home to NAVI, the Neighborhood Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Service, the first permanent autonomous public transportation system operating in revenue service in the United States. What makes this deployment significant is not simply the vehicles themselves, it is the operational ecosystem we are building around it. NAVI combines autonomous vehicle technology, intelligent infrastructure, V2X communications, operational oversight, and public transportation integration into one coordinated mobility system in a live urban environment. This is not a closed pilot. This is a functioning transportation service that's integrated into the fabric of downtown Jacksonville. Now, since our launch, our vehicles have successfully navigated complex real world conditions, including construction activity, special events, pedestrian interactions, emergency scenarios, and over 80 operational detours during the early phases of the service. These experiences are helping us develop one of the most valuable resources this industry needs right now, operational knowledge and deployment of best practices. At the same time, this journey has also highlighted important policy and regulatory challenges that are not unique just to Jacksonville, but challenges I believe every public agency pursuing autonomous mobility will eventually face. One of the most significant involves compliance with the federal motor vehicle safety standards. As you well know, purpose-built autonomous shuttles often do not neatly align with existing FMVSS requirements because many of those standards were written around the assumption that a human driver has to be physically present in the vehicle. Now, that creates a situation where highly advanced autonomous vehicles capable of operating at an equivalent or even higher level of safety, must still navigate exemption processes for standards that may not apply to a driverless design. The JTA has worked closely with NHTSA and our OEM partners throughout this process, particularly around the NHTSA Part 555 exemption pathway. We recognize and appreciate the rigor involved because, frankly, in our business, safety is the most paramount opportunity for us. However, we also believe that this is an opportunity to continue evolving and streamlining pathways that support safe deployment while maintaining strong federal oversight. To support our launch back in June of last year, the JTA ultimately adjusted course and implemented an autonomous vehicle model that met with current FMVSS requirements. But as shared mobility continues to mature nationally, creating clearer and more efficient pathways for purpose-built autonomous transit vehicles will become even more increasingly important. So we also strongly support the Self-Drive Act and broader efforts to establish a consistent national framework for automated vehicle safety and data sharing. We're proud to be a founding member of the ACES Mobility Coalition, and the JTA believes consistency and transparency across jurisdictions will be critical to long-term public trust and scalable deployment. We also believe there is an important opportunity to further address remote assistance, supervision, and monitoring capabilities within future ADS safety frameworks. Remote operations can provide meaningful operational safety benefits, but they also introduce new considerations involving resiliency, cybersecurity, operational accountability, and in some cases, offshore operational dependencies that deserve thoughtful evaluation as part of a holistic safety case approach. Administrator Morrison, public transportation agencies have an important role to play in helping shape these conversations because transit agencies operate with a deeply embedded safety culture. That's what we do. We have operational discipline, and we have direct accountability to the communities we serve. That is why we built the Autonomous Innovation Center, the AIC, we like to call it. The AIC serves as the command, control, charging, maintenance, and operational nerve center for NAVI, but it was also designed as a scalable and replicable model for how autonomous mobility can integrate safely into public transportation systems across the country. What is happening in Jacksonville is bigger than just one project. We believe this work can help inform national standards, deployment strategies, operational frameworks, and public confidence in autonomous transportation. Administrator Morrison, thank you again for your leadership, your partnership, and your commitment to advancing transportation innovation responsibly and, more importantly, safely. So now I'd like to turn it over to Greer Johnson Gillis, who's our Senior Vice President and Chief Infrastructure and Development Officer here at the JTA, to show you around our AIC Control Center. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Welcome, Administrator Morrison, and welcome to our Autonomous Innovation Center, or the AIC. This is our operational headquarters for our NAVI program, but it's also what we feel is the center of shared autonomous mobility in Northeast Florida. We built not only the AIC, but our entire NAVI program to ensure that it was safe and it's scalable and it's accurate public transportation operations. Let me tell you more about the command center that you see here. By looking at our video wall, the AIC actually gives us a real-time operational view of the entire Bay Street Innovation Corridor. Our approach separates the vehicle autonomy from system-wide operational management. As Mr. Ford mentioned, we have the ability, by means of the Autonomous Innovation Center, through our supervisory software system, to be able to integrate multiple autonomous vehicle platforms and technologies through that same supervisory system, that entire ecosystem. And it gives us a scalable, but also replicable operational model that can be used by any transit agency across the country. One thing that makes our program very unique was that we wanted to ensure that we have a smooth and seamless connectivity by installing a private 5G infrastructure, communications infrastructure. That allows us to have a low latency, transparent, real-time connectivity between the vehicles, between the infrastructure along the corridor, and of course here to the AIC. The network provides a resilient operational backbone for the vehicles, for the supervisory control, and system-wide situational awareness, and it allows us to be able to operate fully, level 4 autonomy, in real-world traffic conditions. We also have a robust data management system and a data lake program that captures all of the data that we are collecting from the vehicles and from all of the infrastructure. And we take that data to help us to look at critical KPIs, key performance indicators, to help us not only to monitor system performance, but also to report out to our regulatory bodies. That includes the FTA, FDOT, and of course the National Transit Database. And we collect ridership, on-time performance, including distance and autonomous mode, as well as fleet availability and utilization. But all of this, Administrator Morrison, we do keeping in mind our philosophy of having a human in the loop. There's always a human in the loop. And for us that are our command center agents here, say hi, guys. They're actively monitoring the system and the vehicles at all times. But if you notice on the screens, they look at so much more. They look at station activity. They look at weather conditions. We have flood sensors on the route, so they're able to monitor flood conditions in case we need to make any detours on the spot, a very flexible system. And over 300 cameras line our corridor to ensure that there's eyes on the entire corridor and the entire system. But with all that data, we wanted to make sure cybersecurity was robust and data privacy was there. We have a very robust system, unique in that it is totally separate from the JTA's own network, and it was layered. We had a layered oversight, control system access, continuous monitoring to make sure that we keep that cybersecurity front and foremost. That is so important here at the JTA. And we wanted to make sure we created a model for other transit agencies to emulate. But the supervisory platform, which was developed by BEEP for this particular effort, helps us to extend our visibility beyond just the autonomous vehicle. It gives us beyond the lines of sight to see around the entire environment so that we can anticipate any obstacle. I would be remiss if I did not mention that safety is the forefront of what we do here at the AIC and with our NAVI program. One of the things we did was engage with our first responders and the First Responders Council. By doing that, we made sure that we kept a safe program and a resilient program, and we're able to handle incident management as well as operational resiliency. So that gives you a great view of our command center here at the AIC. But as you can see from our video wall, we can monitor the corridor in real time. So why don't we take an opportunity? Let me actually transfer you to our Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer, Bill Frazier, and he's going to tell you about what our riders see when they experience the NAVI. Bill?
All right. Thank you, Greer, and good afternoon, Administrator Morrison and team. I'm out here in downtown Jacksonville at our Bay and Market stop, one of our busiest stops. And these stops are designed with safety, intuitive, and connected design for the riders and for that ridership experience. So as we go through and understand what's at every stop, I'll walk you through what we have here. So this is the safety portion. We have the safety calls in case any of the passengers need assistance. We have the digital screens and display, which displays any relevant route information for the NAVI service, currently showing that the service is now free. Behind us, we also have the Bay Street Innovation Corridor on a map with the NAVI service that shows all the local food, shopping, and other points of interest. Now, as Greer mentioned, safety is number one, but so is accessibility. And here on the ground, what you can see here is a wheelchair column. Many of our passengers depend on wheelchairs to get around. Some of those passengers have oversized wheelchairs that may not fit in our vehicle. So with this two-way communication video that we mentioned before, they can then see and they can call out to the live center, the command center live agent. They can talk, and the live agents can see if the wheelchair fits inside this box, then they know it's good to get on the vehicle. If it's bigger than this, they can send out a dedicated paratransit vehicle to then take that passenger to their designated stop. So with that, let's get on the vehicle. So this is our NAVI shuttle. And around the corridor, we have 4 transit signal priority intersections. And that allows the vehicle to communicate directly with that with that transit signal infrastructure to ensure that we have safe and efficient operations. So this vehicle here operates as a coordinated system, not as 6 designated vehicles along the route. They're not individual vehicles, they operate as a system. And as we were mentioned with that supervisory system by BEEP, the coordination between the supervisory system and the command center, we're able to maintain 7-minute headways along this 3.5-mile route. And as we go through, we've been able to make sure that we hit 93% autonomous mode on the vehicles, as well as over 80% on-time performance on those 7-minute headways. And it's not uncommon to see an operator hit 96 or more distance in autonomous mode throughout the day. Now, also here on this vehicle, what we have is that we've been operating since June 30th, 2025. And what we've been able to achieve is over 56,000 miles and 13,000 passengers with 0 safety incidents. So as passengers get on this vehicle, they know they're safe. They also have that 2-way communication on here as well in case there's ever an incident. So that's a little bit about the vehicle and the corridor and the stations. I'm going to hand it off to Javier, our AIC program manager, back at AIC down in the charging base.
Thank you, Bill. Good afternoon. My name is Javier Cova. I serve as the program manager for the Autonomous Innovation Center, commonly referred to as the AIC. The ground level of this facility is where we store, charge, and maintain a fleet of 14 autonomous shuttles known as the NAVI. NAVI stands for the Neighborhood Autonomous Vehicle Innovation. As you may already know, NAVIs operate daily, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. along a 3.2-mile corridor in downtown Jacksonville. At the conclusion of daily service, the NAVIs are returned to these bays behind me, where they charge overnight and prepare for the next day. The facility is equipped with 14 level 2 chargers and 2 level 3 fast chargers. In addition, this facility features a microgrid system and a battery energy storage system with 129 solar panels. And to maintain and operate this system, we require a highly skilled and collaborative workforce. Here in this facility, you will have electrical engineers, software engineers, shuttle attendants, command center agents, field supervisors, safety personnel, operational staff. Together, we foster a culture of continuous improvement with where every operational event is documented, analyzed, reviewed to enhance safety, efficiency, and overall performance. We have also learned that autonomous vehicle transit involves far more than just vehicles in a facility. Successful implementation requires the integration of operations, infrastructure, communications. Also, it involves public engagement. Today, Jacksonville has demonstrated how autonomous transit can successfully transition from a pilot program to a scalable operation. At this time, I will turn it back over to Mr. Ford for closing remarks.
All right, thank you, Javier. Administrator Morrison, thank you again, you and your colleagues, for spending time with us today and for taking the opportunity to experience NAVI and the Autonomous Innovation Center firsthand. As you saw today during the tour, what is happening here in Jacksonville is not theoretical. It is literally real-world autonomous public transportation operating in an urban environment with real passengers, real operational complexity, and real accountability. You had the opportunity to see not only the vehicles themselves, but the broader ecosystem required to safely deploy and manage autonomous vehicles at scale, from intelligent infrastructure and V2X communications to operational oversight, charging, maintenance, supervision, and customer integration. So that ecosystem is critically important in terms of our operation, and we want to make sure that as we communicate and present this information, it's not just about autonomous mobility. It's about technology and it's about operational readiness. It's about public trust, and ultimately it's about safety. So at the JTA, we believe public transportation agencies have an important role to play in helping shape the future of autonomous mobility, because transit agencies understand how to move people safely, reliably, and responsibly, and we do it every single day. As NAVI approaches its one-year anniversary next month, we are incredibly proud of the progress that has been made, but we also recognize this is still the beginning of a much larger transformation occurring across the transportation industry. The lessons learned here in Jacksonville can help inform national conversations around safety frameworks, operational standards, deployment models, and the integration of autonomous systems into public transportation networks across the nation. So that is why these partnerships between local agencies, federal leaders, manufacturers, technology providers, and policymakers are so important. Innovation moves faster when collaboration exists. So, Administrator Morrison, we sincerely appreciate you and your team's engagement, your leadership, and willingness to have these important conversations as this technology continues to evolve and move. Thank you again for your time today, for your commitment to safety and innovation, and for your partnership as we continue to help shape the future of mobility in these United States. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much for walking through your operation. I'd love to get out there one of these days to see it in person. It looks like it's quite impressive. And you know, I heard you on the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. We are absolutely working on that. That's a top priority of mine. So hopefully we'll be able to have some tech neutral, design neutral standards that will be able to deliver the vehicles that you want to serve your public.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Mr. Administrator. It's important in terms of our collaboration and working together. A lot of lessons learned as we developed this program over the past few years with our V2R team. You're there with BEEP right now. They were integral, and we worked together, both private sector and public sector, to develop a system that was safe for our customers, but also forward-thinking and embracing the technologies that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. They're actually here today now, and we did it in partnership with the V2R team and BEEP.
Great. Sounds good. It looks like the camera is over here. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little.
but again, thanks for everything. And apologies that we're delayed in getting over here, but made a couple wrong turns on the way out to the BEEP facility.
No worries. Well, if you make it to Jacksonville, we'll make sure you get where you need to go on time and on schedule.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ford. Please,
Thank you.
your team is us.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, I'll pass on your thanks.
Thanks, thanks for the
Thank you.